I'm really an example of someone who got an opportunity to turn what I loved into my profession. I mean, you know, and when I started, I don't know if around that time there was a lot of entertainment journalism. There was the occasional piece you could write on film, but film and entertainment was always sort of back of the book. It was always, the newspapers and magazines don't take. You could either be at a film fair or a Stardust, which was sort of gossip film writing, or if you worked at a newspaper like I did, there was very little space for you, and that's grown, and we've seen that now. I mean, you see that a paper like the Bombay Times, or you have supplements like HT Cafe. I mean, there's entertainment journalism is a full business, and it's in fact one of the areas that's doing exceedingly well, both on television, digitally. I mean, there's lots of film portals covering entertainment. I got that opportunity early on, and I tried to sort of make the most of it. I think that what's happening today, unfortunately, with entertainment journalism also is that a lot of it is just PR driven. It's driven by PR people, and it's driven by producers, and it's driven by. So what you're reading really is handout journalism. You're reading about how all of it is created news to promote a film, to promote a star who's got a film coming out. It's promotional, and that's a little disappointing because that's not journalism. You're really only listening to people and recording people talking about how they made a certain movie, and there's very little actual journalism happening. There's very little actual research happening, and unlike what it may seem like, I mean, it's entertainment journalism isn't just about who's dating whom and which film had a 25-week party, or which had which film had collected 100 crores in its first 3 days. You can actually, there's actually scope to do real journalism within entertainment, and within features, and within celebrity reporting and movie reporting. Unfortunately, I think in this country we don't do any film journalism. We do a lot of film star journalism, which a lot of the magazines do. I mean, even a magazine like Filmfare, now in its most recent avatar, I have to say, well after Shashi left it, is only covering film stars. I mean, that could be a reflection of the fact that that's what sells, but no one covers films. No one writes about films, the business of making films, how films are made, what goes into them, filmmakers, what are their inspirations, what are their influences, how they shot a particular scene, how they shot an action scene. I mean, I think that there is an interest in these things. If you love films, then you'd want to know how a certain song was shot completely in one take. Unfortunately, you don't get to read that in the papers. I have to say, some of the best film journalism and the best writing on film is happening on digital platforms. A lot of the blogs, a lot of the websites have some of the best writing that's going on as far as entertainment journalism is concerned. Some of the best reviews. A lot of people ask me whether it's HT Cafe, HT Brunch did a story the other day on all the new critics that have emerged digitally on blogs, through websites, and is that a good sign or a bad sign for traditional critics, or basically reviewers or critics who write in papers or do it on television? And I think it's just very exciting. I think that some of the best voices are coming out of non-traditional spaces, and that means that you can be a critic, you can be a reviewer, sitting at home, who goes out and watches films. But what really separates, and this is the crux of it, what really separates someone who's trained from someone who's not? And I think that is essential, because I have to say that before I joined the Times of India, where Shashi and Carol hired me, I did do a course in journalism. I did it at an institute in Mumbai, and what I realized from that is that being trained, a lot of people will tell you that there's nothing like hands-on training. There's nothing like getting a job and getting your hands dirty, and what you learn on the job is more than what you'll ever learn in a class, which is to some extent true, yes, but I want to tell you the reality. I work at a television channel today. The reality is that we don't have time for young people. We don't have time for interns. We don't have time for trainees. Most channels, most organizations are bare bones today. I mean, there's just we don't have people who are training interns. There are a bunch of people in this classroom who interned with us at CNN IBN, and they'll tell you that if you're interning with us after you've done a course, you come in much better prepared. You're of much more value in the newsroom than someone who's not. Someone who's in the newsroom for because he's managed to get a job in the newsroom, but who hasn't come trained, you'll realize that there is no time for interns, and there is no training that interns actually get. The training is what you're going to get in your classroom here. The training is what you bring from here to the newsroom, and you will be of value because you will be able to do stories, you will be able to assist reporters, you'll be able to go out and shoot maybe smaller stories. You may not be trusted with big stories. You may be trusted with, vox pops, go out and speak to people on the street and find out their opinions. These are the kind of things that a lot of interns are given to do, but you'll find that you are equipped to do those things if you're trained, because you already know the principles of journalism, which, the truth is we do not have the time to teach you or to train you in a job. You're already familiar with the principles of journalism. You're already familiar with what is ethical, what is not. You're already familiar with how you approach certain stories, with how you go out and shoot. These are things that these are the kind of mistakes that young journalists make all the time. You can't blame them. Most of them, and that's the problem. Most of them don't come trained. I think a question that a lot of you will ask is, are there enough jobs? If everyone wants to be a journalist, are there enough jobs in the media? The truth is that there are. There's the number of channels, the number of newspapers, the number of websites that are already currently existing, and the number is only growing. That number is very large. So there are jobs. As a result, what happens is a lot of people get hired at paltry salaries. A lot of young kids get hired because a lot of companies don't have big budgets to hire trained people, and those are the people who are making crucial mistakes in journalism. Those are the people then who don't get better jobs. They discover that they've made crucial mistakes in their very basic journalism, and they don't get better jobs in future. So what I'm really trying to say is that when you're trained, you come in the newsroom armed with a certain with a certain familiarity with the news business, with a certain familiarity with the principles of journalism, and that's really crucial, as any intern will tell you, because there's really no time to be trained. I want to also take off from the gentleman who asked about travel journalism, and I'll link that to film journalism. A lot of people say, what a great job to watch movies for a living, and that's really true. I mean, to get paid to watch movies is terrific, isn't it? But I also want to say that it's not just that. Carol and Shashi didn't give me that the day I walked in. It's something you earn. It's something you get really after you've put in years, after you've proved that you have something to say. Not everyone. I mean, there are several blogs and there are several people who write reviews. And today you don't even, a lot of you don't even read reviews in the papers or watch a channel. You probably have friends of yours who are SMSing you, or you read reviews on Twitter. But what separates someone, what separates a person whose review you want to read, or a person who's articulate and who's able to put across his point of view from someone who doesn't? The fact that he's able to articulate his thoughts well, the fact that he's able to be clever, the fact that he's able to be funny, the fact that he makes sense, the fact that it's there's some perspective that he's able to bring. So these are things that you earn, like you asked about travel journalism. I don't think the first day you walk into Condé Nast Traveler, they'll say, go to Switzerland because there's this trip and we want you to write about it. First, you have to be able to write. So I think the basics of journalism are the same, irrespective of whether you're doing travel journalism, sports journalism, film journalism, business journalism. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to communicate articulately. You have to be able to communicate correctly. You have to be able to you have to know what is the structure of news. How do you convey what is the most crucial part of what you want to say. All of that is common irrespective of what journalism you decide to do. So while it's very exciting that there are today avenues to do film journalism and sports journalism and travel journalism and food journalism and television journalism, all of these opportunities are now there. It's very true what Carol said, that India is really the country where print is still highly regarded, where print is successful. The number of newspapers is only growing, numbers of news channels are growing, number of programming channels are also increasing. So there is a lot of scope. I want to say that I think if you do want to become journalists, there is great opportunity to do well in that career. If you come with and you're keen to bring integrity to the table, your reason for wanting to be a journalist has to be very clear. It shouldn't, if you think that if you're going to become a journalist only because you want to travel, or only because you want to watch movies, or you want to meet film stars, or you want to meet sportsmen. That is the byproduct of it. But it's a lot of hard work. But I can't stress enough the thrill of breaking a news story. It's just difficult to describe that, because that is just one of the great feelings that a journalist has. When you break a story, when you are the first person to stumble into a story and to report that story, when you're the first person to write a review, or when your review, in my case, when I write a review that a lot of people start talking about because they thought it's funny, or they thought it's accurate, or that I made a point that a lot of people agree with. The thrill of being a journalist who's done a job well is indescribable. So best of luck. I hope that a bunch of you in this classroom do actually go out and become journalists, and hopefully we'll see you in our newsrooms in the near future. Thank you.